For those of you who are here, we're going to give it until TLF and TGB finish their games another couple of minutes. Unless it looks like it's super lost, in which case we'll start a little sooner than that, but in the meantime just hang tight. Also, is my audio fixed, or are you still hearing me out of one ear? I tried the fits that Dope suggested, and I don't know whether it worked or not. Good deal. Thank you very much. Alright, looks like we got a minute left here. Hopefully we can siphon off some viewers from them as well. This music is actually kind of vibing, I won't lie to you. Alright, let's get my face up here. There I am. Turn off the starting soon. We've done it. So it's going to be a little scuffed this week. I didn't prep a ton of things since I'm just going to put this together. Hopefully we got some people joining us. Just a reminder, I'd like to make this as much of a viewer-focused show as we can. So if you've got a take about week 1 that you want to talk about, I posted the Picarious Discord link and mLTP content. You can join that. Hop in the general voice channel and I'll pull you into this stream and we can talk about your take there. Just for starters, while people Sale, you do have to talk if you call in. Logi, thank you for the raid. We'll start off just my sort of recap on week 1. The bid story, obviously, we just watched TGB take down TLF 5-0, but the bid story, obviously, Visual not there, and all indications are he's out for the season. I think most people are surprised by that. Out of the 4 of them, he's the one I would have pegged the least to have left, and I don't know. We don't know the circumstances. Hopefully, it's nothing serious, but I think that team goes from potential solid playoff team. I think without Vigil, that's not quite a death sentence, but it's a lot harder on them now. So it's tough for TLF. I know Gled's put a lot of effort into trying to coach his guys up. So hopefully they can find a good sub, maybe pick up a majors drop, and continue to improve. I think some other week 1 surprises. We gotta talk about 15-1. You have to. I mean, I don't know how in a 10-minute half you won 15-1, but Nuclear Jutes did it. They took on CBS, and if you remember my 20 thoughts, I had CBS missing the playoffs. They actually win this series 3-2, surprisingly. But this game 5, 15-1 PK, 9 caps on 20 grabs. Oh my god, 227 hold. Wayne's 247 and 4. God, that's nuts. One of a couple of blowouts. Obviously, Pub Patrol had a rough go of it. Nothing quite that bad, but several big losses, like 9 cap, 8 cap losses, and they were another one of my playoff teams that, or non-playoff teams that I predicted. I think so far that's bearing out. I said it in the piece, I just don't think the talent for them is enough. They managed to take an overtime win game 1, but after that point, it was fairly firmly in Cap Cities and Blues control, so I kind of expect the same for Pup Patrol the remainder of the season, and I hate to say that, because I like the guys on their team. But I think those last 4 of theirs are kind of be typical of the way their season's going to go. Another notable result from week 1, I'd say returns of the Jedi, who were a lot of people's preseason favorites. They go 0-5 against Reset Theory, and Bird and Acheron, a pretty good team, a pretty good defense, and obviously Budden and Carp, they managed to perform on offense, but all 5 losses by 1 cap, which is just, I mean, that is so devastating. It's so devastating. You go 0-5 with a -5 captive. I mean, that is unreal. Como played 0 for them. And I think if you play that series back, yeah, we see the comments come through in Twitch chat. You guys see them pop up here. I think if we play that series again, it's much more even. They were talking about it post-game in Miners discussion. Easily could have been a 3-2, 2-3. I think any combination of result there would have made sense just because of how close it was. And kind of just sticking with that, a lot of these games were close. Like, I know we were worried 20 teams that parity was going to be horrible. You had the 15-1s with the lag outs, right? So don't really count that. Really, the only one that seems completely out of their depth is Pup Patrol, and even then they won a game, right? So I mean, I think the concerns about parity we've pretty much addressed, at least based on week 1. I mean, a lot of these series are really tight. Like us versus ABO, were I think 3 out of 4 games were decided by, or 3 out of 5 games decided by 1 cap. Our game 5 was 2-0. They beat us by a couple in game 4. It's just really close across the league, outside of the 1 series. So that's really interesting to me. I think that's the most exciting thing. Well, I guess we can touch on the OPH Pugrats drama. and I don't really want to spend too much time on it. Yeah, I know in HD saying there were 3 sweeps this week. It's true there were 3 sweeps, but it was so close. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, honestly, one of the, like we said, one of the sweeps was 0-5 by 1 cap a game. I mean, it's a sweep, but like, that's a close series. Flaccid, you said there's no drama there. Yeah, I didn't catch all of it. From what I understand, it was one of the classic timeout. Did they simultaneously lag out? Did they leave the group in order to call timeout? That was sort of the thing. I think the resolution ended up being a 2-1 start with like 4 minutes left. Obviously, OPH trying to get as many caps as they can out of it. Pugrat's trying to argue that they should only have given up X amount. 3-2 with a minute left, yeah, so. True. Flash, if you want to hop in and walk us through it, that'd be appreciated. Yeah, get in here, dude. What's up, Flaccid?
What's up?
Walk us through it, man.
Alright, okay, so before that game, they gave me the lead because Nameless had to go. Let's start here, because if they didn't give me lead when I explicitly asked not to have it, we would have had this problem. But he had to go, and that's not his fault. But, okay, so I lagged out of the game completely, and it was that thing where you, like, I tried to refresh, and then it was like, you're already in this game, so I couldn't join, so I was, like, kicked out of the game for, like, 40 seconds, but I was group lead, so I couldn't tell what was happening. Sure. I was, like, kept back in the game. So, I was the one who actually clicked end game, but I was just, like, I couldn't actually see if people were in the game or not. I finally I wound up getting back in, and then we ended it. But it was like, I thought it sounded from the VC from my team at the time that people had left, so that's why I clicked end game, because I did see it like popped up in the group for a second. Anyway, it was stupid, and it took way too long to sort it out, so instead of just like immediately, they were like, oh, it's 4-2 with 2 minutes left, and we were like, well, it should be 2-2. CRC was 2 with 1 minute left, and then we finished it out, but it took like way too long to organize it all. I wish we would have just given them the caps and immediately gone. We spent a bunch of time doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Did the CRC look back or actually watch the stream back, or they just kind of split the difference on it?
Yeah, no, they came and like watched the timestamps and were like, and then they went and talked about it, and it all took, every section took like a bunch of time. We should have just said, okay, take the 4-2 with 2 minutes left and just gone, but I think I did a poor job in the moment of communicating to my team that I wasn't actually in the game, so like everyone was very confused, and then I couldn't see that they were. I thought they had left, so I clicked end game because I thought they went back to group, even though they denied it initially. We were like, can you go back to group? And they're like, no.
Sure.
You can see that on the stream. Waterwheel posted it. Yeah, and then the 1 minute game was very funny. It's no pup round. Like kind of like OT, but not really.
Yeah, it was interesting. Waterwheel said it was crazy. Was there something specifically crazy about it, or just?
I don't know. There was in a 1 minute game multiple caps, so that was funny. I pulled the rug on a lone OD for a pass 3 cap, like kind of walk in, and then Excel had a really nice rub grab out past everybody to cap with like 6 seconds left, and that all happened within 60 seconds with no pups, so that was really exciting.
Wild, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think there's any drama or like beef or whatever. Like, I'm not mad about it. I just in the moment wish we would have been able to resolve it faster. So like, I don't think there's actually any drama, but sure. It was spicy, at least, I guess.
If you don't mind, can I transition you? What do you think about OPH's opponent as a whole?
They were good. I gave up a bunch of, like, when I look at it, I feel like, okay, I made the mistake. I gave up a bad rope grab. But to compliment them, I think that Excel and Active were both very efficient with their grabs. After the delay, too, they seemed extra motivated because I think they felt like they got robbed out of a cap. And Excel started playing really good, taking over, I think. I didn't get to see too much of the defense.
Well, that was going to be my next question. From what you saw of Ted, how's my rookie this season looking?
I don't know. I guess I really didn't see Ted too much. He had to miss the final 2 games because it went on too long, so they brought up Spirod, who I thought played really well. And D-Rec is, like, very solid.
Oh, I think D-Rec's incredible, dude.
Yeah. I think he's very good at everything. And there was a lot of plays where he like caught me slipping on boot. Like if I did have the flag, when I did have the flag, I did very poorly. So I think that's a credit to their defense too. They seem to be on their P's and Q's. I think they're a good team. I don't know. I think they'll be a contender for sure. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out. But I'll stop rambling. I've been talking for way too long now.
Well, I appreciate you hopping in, man.
Yeah, this is a very cool piece of content. I wish I had a question to ask you and then say I'll take my answer off the air.
Oh,
But
come up with something real quick. We gotta pull it off here.
who is your Mooper Ball contender based off like has it changed from your preseason indication as compared to now after seeing 1 week of games? I'll take my answer off the air.
Thanks, Blast. Appreciate it, man. Hey, you know what? Preseason, I was on OPH. I think I'm right. My four that I considered were OPH, Pugrats, ABO. Wait, no, I didn't say ABO. I honestly forgot. It was OPH. I'll pull up my content here since my memory is horrible. OPH, Pugrats. You would think I would remember this, and it's ruining my answer here. The vibes are horrible right now. Yeah, so Bottle Otters, Green Beans, Pugrats, Returns of the Jedi were my four. I would move ABO up into that tier. We played them obviously last night. We lost 4 games. Technically, 2 of them were in overtime, so 1 and 4. But I felt like we could have won some more of those. But I think that KL Vic offense is just really legit. Like KL obviously by himself is pretty freaking good. I think Vic has had a couple of really strong seasons back to back. So I would put that as one of the best offenses in the league. And then really, Burt Reynolds really surprised me with how well he played. It really did. And then Jarvis was Jarvis. I mean, he won a Mooper last season. He's capable enough. So with the pressure that KL and Vic put on you, that's a pretty substantial team. We touched on Returns of the Jedi a little bit. Like I said, I think that series could have gone very well in their favor. But it's hard for me to say a team that went 0-5 is in that championship tier at the moment. I would keep OPH in there. I would keep Pugrats in there. Bottle Otters, I think, won 4 games out of 5. So I think they're pretty safely still in that contender status as well. KL is like Titan, but like Titan's like twice as good. I mean, I really do think he's just such a factor. Now, their Rig was not playing, or that was a different series. It felt like Look What You Made Redo had a sub. I think Ducky was playing in favor of someone, if I'm reading this right. True, I do need to add some drinks to this. I'll figure something out. Ducky for Maradona, that's right. Wayne, thank you for the sub, man. Appreciate you. So honestly, downgrade, I think most would say Ducky for Maradona. Bottle Otters probably still wins that series 4-1. Thanks for the follow, Prime. I'll be curious whether you guys have any more Tates here. I mean, we can touch on Week 1 award winners just because I brought it up in the preseason. I think your MVP probably still Titan Blue. I know he's not really up there on the stat board, but I think he just made such a huge difference to that team. Boogie obviously leads the way with 21 caps, PK with 15. I don't think that continues. Obviously, the beneficiary of some lag. And obviously, I've touched on Pup Patrol. I don't think Boogie's going to have as much success against other teams. OBOS, I'm undecided on. Honestly, kind of a middling week. And that's an interesting point. Aside from the blowout games, kind of a middling week for most offenders. Like, I'm looking at these stats here. It's like 9, 8, 7 caps. I mean, Joji and Titanic are pretty defense-heavy maps. We get a little bit of a switch up here coming up in week 2. If I can find the map order. I want to say we play Jardim next week. Yeah, so we play Jardim at Catch 24, so it'll be a change of pace next week. I expect a lot more caps. I expect these 4th balls to get exposed a little bit more. Joji and Titanic kind of almost like a band-aid, I guess. Like, we'll really see how good these 4th balls are on Jardim. That's gonna be the test. And again, if anyone is interested in sharing a take, you can join the Picurious server. I posted the link in the mLTP content channel. Hop in general VC, I'll drag you in. I would love to interact with more of you. I'm fine interacting with Twitch chat, but feel free to hop in the voice chat as well. I think it makes it more interesting. As we have our second caller of the night, Yelba, how are you?
I am good. How are you, Mr. Anka?
I'm well.
Awesome.
What you got, man?
So I don't know if you touched on your game from your perspective. Tough opponent, ABO. Did you find that it was a very defensive week for you and ABO, kneecappers and ABO, or were you affected by the lag issues that it seems like more than half the league was affected by last night?
Yeah, no, I had one spike sometime during like game 3 or game 4. I didn't really notice it, to be honest with you. But you mentioned the defense. I was looking through game scores after our games. I was kind of surprised with how few caps we both scored. I think partly it's the maps, like I said earlier, but it feels like I'm potentially playing a little more conservative than I have to. Because we have Pete, who's playing from Ireland. His pain situation's not the best. More of a pure offender. Although I think he surprised me with his defense, to be honest with you.
Pete is good no matter where you play him. Sweaty Pete is a very, very, very talented player.
Yeah, as we went through scrims in week 1, I kind of came around that point of view. And he just bought an Ethernet cord, so I'm hoping it'll be even better. But I think I'm still struggling to find that balance between playing too conservative and trusting everyone and going for caps in situations where I might not have week 1. So I think a little low scoring for us. But I mean, I was happy to hold KL and Vic to the amount we did, to be honest with you.
True. So, True. I mean, it's very impressive to hold that team to 12 caps. But yeah, I like I mentioned, I guess I have to give a take here.
Yep.
But ping issues were tremendous last night. Both EXO and I lagged out of game 1 at the same time, which happened to go into overtime as we both lagged out.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit more, because what I see is response from Cheese Doodle, and I guess by extension the CRC, is it's not a server issue, it's a you issue. Do you agree with that?
It's not an us issue if half the league is having the issue. It's not an us issue if King Cruel, who lives in flippin' Texas, has an issue. It's not an issue if you have people from all across the veritable map of mLTP players saying there were problems last night, there were issues last night, and whether that was server load, I'm not entirely sure if that's server load. I'm not entirely sure if that's something that's necessarily under the umbrella of Vulture.
Right, and that's part of what I was wondering, or I wonder if groups of players are getting routed the same way, and there's an interruption along the way.
Yeah, people talk about Chupa, and I know that the Future Group and the CRC, geez, I'm calling you out here, have said that Chupa isn't Vulture. Chupa isn't an issue they can handle, but Chupa is Vulture. So I'm not really... Vulture is the company with which Lucky Spammer and Tag Pro have contracted to manage these servers.
Okay.
And the Future Group has looked at this over and over the years, and for the price points that are available to them, the servers that we have now, the servers locations that we have now, provide the best overall spread for the community, so to say, at least in the Future Group size. But Chupa is a main node. Chupa owns a main node that connects to the Dallas Vulture server, and Chupa is a division of Vulture.
Interesting.
And it seems like whenever an MTR is publicly revealed, where some issues are going to Dallas, Chupa is the Chupa node is the culprit. And I know in the past, Lucky Spammer has literally gotten on the phone with his provider at said time and said, "Hey, this node is messing up my shit. Get this fixed, or I will deadlift you to eternity."
Okay, we just got a response from Cheese in the chat saying they've submitted a ticket to Chupa, confirmed it was a response issue from the server, not packets actually being dropped. It reports drop packets without actually dropping packets. So he says we're SOL. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm sure it makes sense to some people.
3/4 that makes sense to me, honestly.
That might be as good as we're gonna get.
Everything up to we are SOL makes sense to me.
Gotcha. I guess, do you have a vision for what the fits would be there instead of SOL?
Well, I can't say I've ever dealt with this sort of thing.
Sure,
I can't
yeah.
say I know what server you could use to run a Node.js based 2D web browser game that could provide consistent quality ping across all of North America. So I can't really say what the solution necessarily is, but
But
I
there's gotta
think-
be something.
I think that unless Vulture / Chupa is able to really look at the problem more deeply, then maybe you start looking at alternatives.
Gotcha.
Maybe Lucky makes a few phone calls to a few friends, you know?
Can I pivot to ask you about your game this week?
Sure. Ask away.
So, first time for you actually playing in quite some time, right?
Yeah, I think the last time I played was season 20.
Did I bench you that season?
Oh no, I was on Meet the People that season, and I believe I only played because, without naming names, one of our B team players fell asleep mid-game.
Ouch. So
And-
long time off, you come back playing offense, correct?
Awkward. I can't really say I played offense.
There was an attempt.
No. I spent
Interesting.
most of that game on defense.
Interesting. Okay. By design.
It just happened to work out that way. I'm not sure. Maybe we have a little miscommunication in the Discord, but I spent most of that game on defense.
So, defense then. What were your first impressions? You've played minors in the past somewhat, but obviously it's been a long time and the tier's different. What are your impressions of the talent level and how you held up?
I think over the last almost 3 years now, everyone's kind of reached a standard minimum of talent, those individuals who've played the entire time. So there's not really much of a difference, say, between, at least in what I'm experiencing, between, say, a first ball and a fourth ball. They're still bound by the same physics. They're still trying to perform the same jukes, the same actions, the same mechanics. So it just seems like playing Tag Pro these days, you know?
One more for you. You had Handro in place of Rig playing against you guys. What were your impressions of Handro? Do you see them getting a call up this season?
And Handro performed admirably. I'm not sure if maybe Handro was the best partner for Brosco's style of play, but Handro definitely stepped up when their number was called, and I can see more opportunities coming down the line, especially if I think this first free agent period is going to be as busy as it is.
Gotcha. Well, Yalpa, thank you very much for coming in and hanging out for a few.
Thank you. I'm going to go back on my bike now.
See you,
Have
man.
fun.
Have fun.
How do I leave?
I can drag
Exit.
them in. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we got Gleg in chat asking, and I'll reiterate. If you go to the competitive tag pro server, mLTP content, I posted the link to the stream as well as the link to the Bicurious Discord. You can join the Discord there. Go ahead, hop in the general voice chat, and I will drag you into the stream voice channel from there if you have a take. So I'd like to get Gleg in here. I'd be curious what his first impressions are on his team, given the difficulties, as well as the I don't know if pushback's the right word, but the draft strategy. So he should be on his way here. Yeah, HD, while we're waiting for Gleg, I would agree. I think the first fourth ball is, and I don't know if he implemented stated quite that way. I would argue there's still quite a gap there. But I would agree that a lot of people do have that kind of minimal level. We got Space Tiger in general. I'm going to drag him in. Mr. Space Tiger, how are you?
Hey, what up, man? I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. What you got?
You know, I just wanted to circle back. You were talking about it earlier, but a little bit of early season awards talk.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I guess I just want to see your perspective first. I might be working on the mLTP ladder soon here, like in the morning or so, but seeing who stood out to you or to me early on this week.
Well, I'll say first, I think, number one, I've mentioned it before, I think you and Fender, and I know you did a lot of the legwork for the miners ladder, I think that's a terrific piece of content, number one. So, thank you for putting that together. It's hard because you have 10 games a week, right? And I'm not watching all 10.
No. So,
and I doubt anyone is. So you're almost forced to go off stats and then what you've been able to see in scrims. Like I said, I still think Titan's MVP. The stats weren't really there this week, but I just think talent-wise, he's so far above
his
every other
team.
offense.
Also, they had a good showing overall.
Yeah, they went 4-1, so they brought home 4 wins. I thought he played well. OBOS, like I said, it was kind of a weird week. No, I mean, you had the blowouts, so I guess if you want to put Boogie in that conversation, you can.
Yeah, I feel like Boogie jumps in right away just because of having a huge 21 cap week and looking, good doing it.
Yeah.
Although that's not going to tell the whole story.
Right, yeah, and I just question how much weight you give it with the lag outs that he obviously took advantage of. Like, are we, like, PK's up on the cap board too? Are we saying now that PK's the best offender in the league?
Probably not.
Right. But should your
he might have shot above like his typical weight, but he might manage to crack the top 10. You can't ignore him all season if he continues to perform strongly.
Very true. On the defensive side, I don't think anyone from my game I would really move in that conversation. I'm taking a look at the stats. I guess you could give a nod to the King, couldn't you?
I mean, yeah, the King top 3 in returns and prevent, and although I think the one knock you could have is Rick G right next to them.
Sure.
And
they're on the same team as Boogie too, so they had the same, they were able to benefit just as much as he was.
You'll see, you could see them shoot up the rankings, but I think there's an argument you could jump them all the way to first place for now when it comes to defensive pairing. They both popped off and they seem to coordinate really well.
Yeah, I actually really liked what LBT did, and I liked Trippy comes back and plays really well with Linux. And I think they won their series 4-1, if I remember right.
I think they swept, actually.
Let me see.
They might have had a clean sweep.
You're right, they had a clean sweep. Yeah, so I would put Trippy in that conversation.
I think you can't ignore Ginseng either.
Yeah,
top on returns and prevent, but
yeah, I would have to watch. I wonder if it's a little bit of a visual situation going on. Rest in peace. Because they win 2 games out of 5. Is he farming defensive stats? I don't know. Is it bad if you're farming prevent and returns? Probably not. I question how you go 2 and 3 with a guy who tops returns and prevent, and your second defender is second in returns.
Well, then you could pivot to maybe, I don't know exactly how his team performed, but Red Bull switching to defense seemed to really
Red
pop
Bull
off
puts
this
up
week.
the second most returns, fifth most prevent. You got Wayne's at 9 caps. I mean, I don't know. It's that 15-1 half is outweighing things a little bit.
It does skew things.
Yeah.
But then you can switch down to someone maybe less stats, but that shot above their weight maybe. A team that wasn't expected to do much, Acuron.
Yeah,
Their stats aren't necessarily there, but
yeah, I thought Acuron and Burt. I was uncertain about how Burt would play, but I think that's turned out to be a really good D pair. I know you're familiar with Acuron when you won the Mooper together.
yes, he's incredibly easy to play with.
Yeah, so I think
anyone can adapt easily.
Hey,
and then I guess the stats from tonight aren't in. Obviously, it was another weird situation, but outside of apparently the 2 Titanic games, the egg team, even in disarray, performed pretty decently on a slower paced map. So it might not be all worth throwing out the window.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess we'll see how they play on a faster map next week in Jordan. I wonder if they'll get punished more heavily. But I've got Ray and Glegg in VC, so I'm gonna hop onto them if you don't mind.
For sure, man.
Yeah, appreciate you hopping on Space.
You bet.
Dude.
All right, we got Glegg and Ray in.
We gotta speak our truth,
Glegg,
dude.
I'm just gonna
Honestly, hold on. Roger Goodell is the most hated man in the United States, and you're telling me he can stop a football game for a heart attack, but God forbid Cheese Doodle and his Scooby-Doo gang can't stop a gang for a death on my team? That's crazy, bro.
Facts.
So, I guess, are you able to give us a little bit of background as to what happened?
Yeah, I think Vigil died.
Dude, Vigil's dead, man. I'm pretty sure that the responding officer on the way to the ICU must have deleted all his Discord servers. Like,
he left every single Discord, didn't say anything to anybody, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we talked yesterday about the games today, so he knew what was going on, and today he kind of just disappeared from all of the egg servers, all the tag servers, Hacksball server, everything, dude. He's out of here.
Friendship servers.
Yeah, it's hard to... I guess, I mean, really the only thing I can say, I think, is just hope it's not a personal emergency. Hope he's okay, you know. But it's odd to see him up and quit like that.
Yeah, and then we flew to Japan for training for the season, like just to get like an insight. And on the flight back, I guess Blaster got COVID or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blaster has COVID and had a fever.
Yeah,
So...
when we were in Japan, we were doing training with like on the Japanese servers to prepare for this season, and I don't know. I guess he got COVID when we took that trip.
I got you.
Honestly, though, I see someone in chat that I gotta say something to. I see Rick G in chat. Rick G, you're the biggest pussy in this game, bro. If I ever see you go in chat and say that we're gonna quit the season after tonight, I don't want to see you on the field, because I swear to God, the next time I see you, Rick G853 on the field, it's over for you. You're going to question why you played this game in the first place.
Facts, fuck Rick, on God.
So, if you don't mind, since you're obviously sticking around after that, what was your biggest takeaway? Obviously, Ray, your first... I mean, I know you've been playing, but have you played a whole lot? This is really your first full series with the team, I would think, right?
Yeah.
So, what'd you think?
It was CTF.
Glegg, how about you?
Dude, I was having a great time. I mean, fucking Ray was popping off, dude. Who saw his bomb save?
Hey, I did gotta go crazy game 5, but that didn't really matter too long.
No, and honestly, from an outsider's perspective, for how relatively new Blaster and Ray are to the game, I thought you guys competed fairly well.
Thank you, I appreciate it. He played better than Rick G does, that's for sure.
No doubt. I guess do you guys have any takes about other teams, the season, anything else before we move on?
You know, it sucks being in the division with my best friend Titan Blue, but you know, it is what it is. And you know,
I love the doubters. I love the haters. I love the people who hate us just because. I love the people who hate us and they don't even have a reason. I love the people that hate us just because we've played a game of egg ball. I can't lie though. I'd say the CTF community compared to the egg ball community, at least the egg ball community will tell you to your face. The CTF community is a bunch of people who hide behind discords and keyboards and talk shit behind people's back like high school girls. You know, I gotta say, egg ball is the men's game. I gotta say that honestly.
And honestly, I think you'll find some agreement with that. So,
Oh, 100% agreement, dude.
yeah.
Not a day goes by where people, after game, after giving their stupid little GG after games, they go to the little chats, dude. They talk shit. They want to see us down. They want to see us crumble, dude. They want to see us quit the game. Well, we're bringing life to the game, bro. On God. We're restoring the game to what it should be.
I think
Men's sport. Men's sport.
I think it's a fitting note to end on. Glad rooting for you guys the rest of the season. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us, man.
Yep, sure. See you guys. Good call. Good call. By the way, I've had like 2 people ask me to stream their B team games tomorrow. Don't ask me to stream your B team games. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Especially not at 10:30 at night, Jarvis. Okay, we will, I'm gonna give you guys a minute or two. If we have any more people who want to give a take, hop into VC. Otherwise, I want to be offline by midnight, so I'll ramble a little bit. If we don't have any more callers, and then we'll call it, so. Lamatron, you will get timed out. Robiny, you will get timed out. Can I do that from Streamlabs? Hold on. Oh, I can. Or let me time out Robiny too. I've done it. I've done it. Okay. So if we don't have any more callers, I'll wrap up the stream for tonight. Let's talk about week 2 matchups. We talked about maps already. Jardum, Catch 24. Like I said, I think that's gonna really test these 4th balls. Joji and Titanic, I would argue a little bit more forgiving than them. So we will see how they do. The big marquee matchup that I see immediately, it's gotta be Bottle Otters versus Reset Theory. Bottle Otters 4-1 in week 1. Reset Theory, obviously the sweep. It's gonna be a really good matchup, I think. That Burt Acheron defense, what can they do against Titan Blue and J24 Gordon? I think this will be a really interesting matchup to watch. Actually, and I know this is kind of silly, maybe calling it a murky game, given their records after this week, but I think last Flairbanders versus Pup Patrol, that's an opportunity for TLF to pick up some games. And obviously an opportunity for Pup Patrol to maybe do the same against an opponent that are having some growing pains, obviously Vigilant leaving, right? So opportunity for them. I kind of like the OPH Responsible as matchup. I like Kelvin from last season. I think he's a really good offender, so I'd be curious to see how he does against D-Rec and Ted. And hopefully Ted can play the whole series this time. And nothing really else screaming off the page at me here. I don't know if these are the updated games, by the way, because they changed the schedule. Yeah. I just realized that. Thank you, chat. Well, just imagine I said that, but about the games that are actually happening. Yeah, so we would play... Let me find the actual week 1 with the colors. That's more helpful. So, OPH ABO is one that I'd be interested in seeing. LBT versus Nuclear Jutes could be interesting. If Nuclear Jutes is more the team that won 15-1 than they are the team that went 2-3, I could see that being an intriguing game to watch. Bottle Otters versus Green Beans should, in the same vein as Bottle Otters versus the other team that I mentioned when I was wrong about matchups, I think Bottle Otter Green Beans, that's going to be really good. I mean, obviously Green Beans benefited from playing a short-handed less Flarebender squad this week, but again, it's going to be I think a good test. It's prime MC Ride on defense against Titan and Gordon. I don't know. Green Bean's defense is going to be tested by. I've really liked how MC Ride's played as of late. So I'm curious to see if he can rise to the challenge here. So that'd probably be my game to watch. Bottle Otters versus Green Beans. Would encourage you to consider OPH versus ABO. I think we're better. Like, I don't want to promote myself. I think us versus Pugrats will be a good game too. Curious to see if RTJ. Oh, RTJ plays Pup Patrol. You assume they're gonna rebound there. So, if we don't have any more callers, I'm gonna cut it here. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. Thank you to Space, Yelpa, Ray, Gleg, Flaccid Trip. Let's see, Flarebenders play Look What You Made Redo. And that roster is Dingbat, Jazz, Maradona, and Radical. Maradona didn't play this week, so don't know if he'll have to sub for week 2 or not. But that's a pretty good team you're going against. So, looks like we have HD in here. HD, how are you?
Oh, let's go! Hey, first time caller, long time listener. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you. What you got?
All right. Are you able to open up this this spreadsheet link here?
Do I need to show it on screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
You don't
give me 1 second.
Sure. Alright, I've got the updated model, folks. It's coming up hot right here. I was only able to do a limited run. I'm getting some bugs, unfortunately, so it does look like we're limited to just 1,000 simulations, alright? So you might see a few lies, but the premises of it is that we've got a few teams practically locked out of the top 3 seeds already. That's PPP, TLF, TPB, and RTJ.
Yeah, I can't show the full thing, but I will. I've got the chart, and I can scroll over to the percentages if you'd like.
Yeah, scroll over to the sexy chart.
I'm on the chart. Oh, you mean the seating? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I get the
Yep,
seating.
I'm there.
I'll post the link in chat to you then.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So you got 2 different charts here. You have one where division reseeding happens. So I don't think the CRC has decided on this yet, but in seasons past, the leader of each division would be guaranteed like a top 3 seed or something, right? So hypothetically, in a 10 division league, you would have every pod leader getting guaranteed a top 10 seed.
Makes
Which is
sense.
why this top chart looks a little bit different from the bottom one. But great start here for the teams getting a sweep. It is a kind of a reactionary model in the beginning. So you got TGP, 26% chance for first seed, and practically guaranteeing themselves a spot in playoffs already. And that's just because of how short the seasons are here.
Yeah, that's interesting
weeks,
to
you
me
get
now
a
that you
sweep,
point
you know?
that out. The the instant, I mean, TGB greater than 99% off of a 5-game sweep in week 1. I mean, I understand it's significant, but it's crazy to me how significant it is.
Yeah, and that's because of a few things. I mean, one, you're already 15 points up, right? And that's 15 out of a potential 90, which is pretty huge. The other thing is that only 4 teams are missing,
That's very true.
So these are the percentages, Deptonic, of how likely each team is to get a certain seed. So, looking at the top left there, that's TGB has a 26% chance of getting first seed, a 16% chance of getting second seed, and so on.
So I guess I'd be curious, do you allow yourself to have opinions on teams outside of the model, or is the model your
Yeah,
opinion?
for sure, for sure.
Where do you think your model conflicts with your personal opinions?
I think it just updated. Perfect. All right, this is a little bit better. We got 25,000 simulations in now. I think
Ooh.
where I disagree the most is early on when you only have like 1 or 2 weeks in, it's definitely quick to flip out. You know, it sees a sweep from TGB and it's like, oh my God, this is the best team. You know, and that's not necessarily true. It's a good indicator of success for the team, but they're not going to be guaranteed to, top the league or anything.
Right, and then I guess adding on that, so like you mentioned, it's a short season. You play 6 regular season games. Is there any attempt from you to adjust for the fact that you're playing a third of the league in your schedule? Is that even possible to account for?
No, absolutely. It definitely accounts for that. I think that's the best thing that it does. So the model actually looks at the rest of your schedule, and it tries to think, are these teams I'm facing good? Are they bad? And it will take that into account.
And is that in that initial, I guess, team rating is a function of how the community ranks them, correct?
That's right. I've nerfed that this year. Last season, I think a few teams were kind of ranked a little highly. I know Squeebs was one of them, and
Toxic.
well, Squeeb had complained, so I was in agreement. I nerfed the power rankings a little bit, so by like week 4 or 5, they'll just be completely irrelevant.
So how do you? I guess I don't want to get too technical, but how do you weigh it less? Is it more of your personal opinion on where these teams are that factor into their initial elo rating?
My rankings are factored in for sure in the initial ranking, but what you can do is bring the initial rankings closer to the average each week, just a little bit. And by week 4 or 5, you've almost completely phased them out. But even without doing that, things should just kind of revert to where they're supposed to go. That's how elo systems work. So maybe if you were like 5 points up at the beginning of the season, and now it's week 5, it's probably not really going to affect you this far down the line.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, is there anything else about your model that you'd like the viewers to understand?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for showing it.
Yeah, man.
Again,
I look
good
forward to the
chat.
updates every time you post, so please keep posting.
I'm glad that some people enjoy it. I know a lot of people probably just get lost in all the numbers going on, but
Yeah.
that's what we have the match ratings there for. If you
Right.
scroll to the left
The-
a little
the
bit,
fun-
I think
the fun
those are easier
photos
to
with the
understand. Yeah,
percentages,
the fun pictures, the
Yeah.
fun colors, you know,
exactly.
those are easy.
Okay, HD, appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's great content. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Alrighty, everyone. That will officially, if I cannot accidentally open programs, that will officially end it for tonight. I don't know what the schedule for this is going to look like. Midnight on weeknights are kind of tough. We'll play it by ear. I might try to buff this up a little bit, add some like clips from games in here. I haven't really decided yet. If you got suggestions, give me a heads up. Appreciate all of you that tuned in, called in, and we will see you next time. GG's.